Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome on in here to Broad Street Sports Unfiltered. I have a good show lined up for everybody. A lot of topics on the way here. So when I planned this out earlier, it was going to be talking about what the Eagles should do at the offensive coordinator position, and some Phillies updates when it comes to the spring training and the whole 9 yards with that. And then about at 2 o'clock, 2:15, 2:30, we got the alert that Kevin Patullo, the old Eagles pass game coordinator, will now be the Eagles offensive coordinator. So we got that update. And so that changed everything that I was going to do. So on today's show, we're going to talk about obviously the new hire, the new promotion of Kevin Patullo to the offensive coordinator spot, and also some Phillies spring training news, some updates. And I have a nice little Nick Castellanos interview that he did, and some things that I want to pick apart out of that kind of tweaked me out just a little bit. So we're going to get to that later into the show. Then, of course, later into it, we're going to get to your phone calls. So before I get into this, I'd like to say make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, send this to people you know. It really goes a long way. And I just want to let you guys know, I did an Instagram poll of how, so you can go answer this. You can go look at this and vote on this on my Instagram at Broad Street Sports _. And the question was on the Instagram poll, how do you feel about the new Eagles offensive coordinator hire? We have three different options. Do you feel good? Do you feel bad? Or I'm not really sure how to feel. You can go vote on that right now. As it stands right now, without the new guys, all of you potentially not doing it yet. So as of right now, the percentages are people are feeling 45% good, 5% say they're feeling bad, and about 50% say that they're feeling they don't know how to feel, that they're feeling unsure about this, which is where I think that I am as of right now. I think that's where I stand, is I'm not sure how I feel about this. So obviously we will be getting into that very shortly. But yeah, please make sure you guys like, subscribe, send us to people you know. It really, really does go a long way. But yeah, we got a good show. So we're going to start here. Kevin Patullo. I don't know if anybody has heard of this guy before today or before these past couple days, where that's all we've really been talking about is who the Eagles' next offensive coordinator is going to be. So nobody's really ever heard of who this guy is until as of recently, right? So the Eagles today hire Kevin Patullo as the offensive coordinator, and I don't really know how I feel about this, because I feel as if this could be the next Brian Johnson 2.0, something like a Jalen Hurts comfort, you know what I mean? But when I really break this down, Kevin Patullo was the Eagles passing coordinator before this. But if you look back, the Eagles' passing game has been inconsistent, not as good as it can be. So really, how good is Kevin Patullo? Now, what I will say when I compare him to Brian Johnson had 2 years in a coaching position. And now when you look at Kevin Patullo has had 15 years in coaching in the NFL and in college as well. So when I really break this down, I just think the Eagles should have went to outside of the building when it comes to this job. But I mean, we're going to see how this goes down. We're going to see how this transpires. I am willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not feeling bad about it, but I'm also not feeling great. I'm in the middle. I'm not really sure how to feel, because he's been our passing game coordinator, and our passing game's been inconsistent. It hasn't looked great consistently and as good as it should be, right? So I'm looking to see what he can potentially do. That's all I really want to know. That's all I really want to see. What can he potentially do? How can he change this offense? Now, what I want to see him do is like what I want to see him do. I want to see him continue to run the ball first. This is a run-first offense, and that's where I want to see him continue to be. I want to see him continue to be that run-first type of guy, right? So when I really, okay, we have to live whatever's going down with this Kevin Patullo hire. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. But here's what I will say about this. I'm actually upset, and and it's not in the fact that we hired Kevin Patullo. It's not in the fact of that. So here's what I'm upset, but here's what I will say. I'm upset, but I'm not upset in the fact that we hired Kevin Patullo. I'm upset in the fact that the Eagles did not go out and interview any other guy outside of the building. They stuck with their guns, they stuck with their guts, and they went with Kevin Patullo, who is Nick Sirianni's guy, which is all fine by me. But I think you should have interviewed, you should have looked around, you should have shopped a little bit, you should have heard everybody out, all the possible guys out there, right? I don't think you should have went with your first possible choice. But ultimately, I mean, if it came back to Kevin Patullo, right? If you interviewed 5 different guys and then ultimately you said, "Hey, man, I think Kevin Patullo is really the guy that should have this job," I would say, okay, it would make me feel better that you looked at all your possible options. You said, "Hey, man, and we gave it thought. We think, Kevin, you're the guy. You've been in this organization. You've been here with Nick. You've been here with Jalen. You've been here with the offense." I would feel better in that way. But just the fact that the Eagles and Howie and Nick and Jeffrey, all they did, they took whatever Nick Sirianni said, which is all fine by me, right? That's fine by me. The fact that you want to go out there and you want to go and listen to whatever Nick Sirianni said, I have no problem with that, right? But I just think that you should have went out. Now, I can say whatever I want, right? Like, I can say, "Hey, man," because I want to say, like, I thought in the first place, Eagles should have went out of the building to find the next offensive coordinator anyway. I think the Eagles should have, in this position, I think you should have went outside of the building. I'm not saying that this Kevin Patullo is a problem or it's going to be a bad hire. I'm not going to put some negative outlook on it. What I'm saying and what I truly believe is, if the Eagles wanted the truly best possible outcome, I believe that is going outside of the building. That is looking outside. That's it. It's looking outside. It's looking at all your possible outcomes. It was maybe potentially trying to bring back Kellen Moore, right? So, yeah, I mean, you know what? I don't want to be negative at all when it comes to this. I really, really don't, because we just came off of a Super Bowl, man. You know what I mean? We just won a friggin' Super Bowl. And I'm down here and I'm on live stream talking to you guys and I'm being somewhat negative. When I don't want to be negative, right? I don't want to be that negative. I just want the Eagles to have the best guys around them, the best coaches, the best coordinators, the best team around them. What's going on, Dom? How you doing, pal? Yeah, I mean, that's just what it comes down to. So what I want to see, so obviously we're going to have a couple weeks. We have the entire offseason really look and talk about what the Eagles are going to, or what we can see out of Kevin Patullo in this new position. But I think what I truly want to see out of him is I want to see a different look on the pass game. That's what I want to see. I want to see a new look on the pass game. So what I want to say to that is, right, I'm trying to find the way to word this. What I want to see out of Kevin Patullo in his new job is a new look on the pass game. I want to see a more consistent pass game, but really I want him to continue to be a run-first offense, continue to pound the run with the best running back in the league, Saquon Barkley, but I also want him to have a new look on the passing game, which means more play action, more under center snaps, not this consistent in shotgun, and then when Jalen's actually under center, you automatically know that the Eagles are going to hand it off to Saquon. I want to see a different passing scheme, different plays, different routes, and a lot of the things from Kellen Moore worked. But I think what they did is that they let Jalen play too comfortably. I think what I really want to see out of this Kevin Patullo hire is a new look on the pass game. I want you to continue to be a run-first offense. I want you to continue to pound the run with Saquon, but I want to see the under center snaps. I want to see the play actions. I want to see the bootlegs. I want to see Jalen pass the ball. Now, that's not me saying that Jalen has to throw the ball 35 times a game. That's not what I'm saying. But I think that throughout the year this year and in the past 2 years or so, the pass game with Jalen Hurts has been so inconsistent. Some days the passing's very good and the scheme's very good with the pass. But then the majority of the games, it looks like it's piecemealed together and not really well thought out things, right? That's all I want to see. I just want to see new, updated, well thought out game plans, well thought out passing attack from Kevin that highly builds up Jalen's confidence, that makes Jalen a better passer. Like, that's all it is, man, right? That's all it comes down to. That's all it ever has come down to. Put Jalen and the offense in the best possible position. Now, Kellen Moore did a great job throughout the year doing that, but now it's up to can Kevin Patullo continue the reins, continue the scheme that Kellen Moore put out there. Now, I think the Eagles are going to copy and paste this Kellen Moore offense. I think they're going to keep this Kellen Moore offense. I really do. I think that's what you're going to see. I think you're going to see the same offense next year as you did this year. And I'm not saying that it's a problem by all means. That is nowhere near a problem. But I just want to see a Kevin Patullo spin to that Kellen Moore offense, more pass. And when I say more pass, I mean a difference in the pass game. A true difference in the pass game, under center, bootlegs, play action, rolling out. Really using his weapons, really using A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert if he's back, right? Saquon Barkley out of the backfield, right? Like, that's where it is. What's up, everybody? Thank you all for joining into the stream. I really do appreciate it, man. Make sure you guys like the stream, comment, subscribe if you're new to the channel. I really do appreciate it. Come on, guys, join in the conversation here. How are you guys feeling about this new it's not Kellen Moore. How are you guys feeling about this Kevin Patullo hire, the new Eagles offensive coordinator? That's what I'm doing right now. I'm breaking it down. And also, while you're at it, please go over to Instagram. I have my Instagram poll question of the day. And right now, I put out the poll, and that is, how do you feel about the new Eagles offensive coordinator hire? 45% say good, 5% say bad, and 50% say, I'm not sure how I feel. So, I mean, I think that's where I am. I'm not sure how I feel. I'm willing to give him the true benefit of the doubt. But, I mean, I'm just not willing. I'm just not happy to see that we could potentially be having another Brian Johnson. Now, do I think this guy is a complete disaster like Brian Johnson is? No, not at all. But I'm just saying. But yeah, guys, if you guys want to get in on this conversation, how you feeling about him? How do you feel? Why do you feel that way? Dom says, I love it. He also, that guy's been in the system. Yeah, he's been in the system, but that doesn't mean he can call plays, right? We said the same thing about Brian Johnson. We thought when we brought in Brian Johnson to be the offensive coordinator, we said, well, that's Jalen's guy. That's who Jalen's been around his career in Philly. That is who he feels the most comfortable with. And then you looked at the way that backfired on the Eagles. You look at the way that the Eagles turned out with Brian Johnson. They went the soft route. They took the easy road. They took the comfortable route, right? And then you look at the way that it ended up hurting us and really destroying that team that was so good that year, should have been so good. right? I mean, that's what it is. It's truly what it is, man. Yeah, I mean, so the last thing that I want to really touch on here when it comes to this Kevin Patullo hire before I get into these call-ins is, is the fact that this hire shows that the Eagles trust Nick Sirianni. They trust what Nick Sirianni believes. They trust what Nick Sirianni's message and what he's doing is, right? I mean, this is what it is, right? Like, I think the most important thing about this hire is that it shows that the Eagles' upper management, Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie, trust what Nick Sirianni is doing. They trust what Nick Sirianni is capable of and the regime that he is trying to build around him. I really do, because you saw in the recent hire when it came to the Brian Johnson hire. That came from Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie and Jalen Hurts. Nick Sirianni reportedly had nothing to do with that hire. So now when you look at this one, this is strictly from Nick Sirianni. This is Nick Sirianni's guy. This is the guy Nick Sirianni wanted. This is him. This is all him. So if this backfires, which it may, this falls back on Nick Sirianni. But what I will say, it shows they have trust. It shows this Super Bowl has built a level of love, a level of trust, a level of appreciation for Nick Sirianni. And I think Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie are willing to sit here and they're willing to gamble on a Nick Sirianni guy. I really do. That's what it comes down to. This isn't a hiring outside of the building, going and bringing in a Frank Reich, right? This isn't what that is. This is hiring a guy that's in your system, promoting a guy that's been in the league as a coach for 15 years. He's been built around Jalen Hurts. He's been Nick Sirianni's right-hand man, right? So all those things are positives to me, but that still doesn't make me believe. It still doesn't make me think that this is a great hire. I hopefully will be proven wrong. I just think, for all the people that are out there, and I was listening to WIP today, and 97.5 The Fanatic, and people are calling in and people are talking about that this is a Brian Johnson hire all over again. And I don't think that I am going to go down that route. I don't think that I'm going to sit here and say that, this is a Brian Johnson hire. This is a disaster. This is bad. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that that's what this is. I don't think it's going to backfire. I really don't hope it's going to backfire the way that it did with Brian Johnson. But as it stands right now, I don't think that this is – I just don't know if this was the right decision. I really don't, man. And I stated this earlier in the stream, and I stated it earlier in the show. I said I don't know if this is the right decision, because this is the only guy that the Eagles went out and actually interviewed. And I'm not even sure that they went out and interviewed Kevin Patullo. I think they took what Jalen Hurts said. They took what Nick Sirianni said, and they just said, okay, you want him, you got him. I think that's what they threw out there on that. I just would have felt much better about this hire if it came down to the fact that the Eagles interviewed 3, 4, 5 different guys and ended up sticking with their guns, sticking with their guts, sticking to what they believe in, and staying with the inside guy, staying with the guy that's been in the system, staying with the guy that's helped with this Eagles team win a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? That's just where I am when it comes to this. I'm not happy. I'm not ecstatic, right? When we got Kellen Moore, I also wasn't ecstatic, but I was happy about that because it was such an upgrade from Kellen Moore. But I just think that, you know what I mean? I feel like I don't know. We're going to find out. We're going to see. It's kind of too early to call. It's kind of too early to worry about and think about. But, you're giving them time. You're giving them a little bit of, time to figure things out. But I think that he will be bringing in some new I think he'll be keeping this Kellen Moore playbook, this Kellen Moore style of the scheme, which is, really, it is all fine and dandy. So if you guys want to call in here on this topic, 215-839-8246. That's the number to get in here on this conversation. How do you guys? How you guys feeling about this? How do you guys feel about the hire? Are you guys confident? Are you guys happy? Are you guys feeling bad about it? Or are you like me? Are you in the middle? You don't want to feel bad because that's not really how you feel. And you also don't want to feel good because you've never seen this guy in action. Like when we signed Kellen Moore, we knew what Kellen Moore was as an offensive coordinator. When we signed Kellen Moore, we knew he established himself as a pretty good, damn good offensive coordinator. He's been around in the league. He knows how to coach an offense. We knew his resume coming into his coaching year with the Eagles, right? We knew what that was. But Kevin Patullo, we have no idea what he can do calling plays. We have no idea what that man can do calling plays. It was the same thing with Brian Johnson. Now, I have a lot more confidence in Kevin Patullo than I did with Brian Johnson. But, I just think you have to look at this from all possible outcomes. You know what I mean? That's just really where I have to stand. Yeah, love the guy that's been in the system. Yeah, what's going on? How you doing? Yeah, this is just I like the hire, but I don't like the hire, but I think they should have gone and just interviewed around, man. Just go out. Just go interview, and even if you knew all along that Kevin Patullo was going to be your guy, if you knew all along that Kevin Patullo was going to be the guy that's going to take over Kellen Moore's spot when he leaves, that's fine. But bow down to the fan base. I wouldn't say bow down, but what I would say is, make us happy. Just shut us up for a little bit and interview. Bring in Frank Reich, right? Like, bring Frank Reich in. Bring some, outsiders into the building. Try and figure it out. Have these meetings. Have these interviews, right? I don't think that that's crazy to say. I don't think that that's crazy to want. I don't think that it's crazy to say that I want my team, my Eagles organization, who just won a friggin' Super Bowl, to interview around, to question people, to think about who they truly want in that situation. You know what I mean? So again, Instagram question of the day. Go vote over there at Broad Street Sports. Right now, we have some updated percentages on this poll. 13% say they don't know how to feel. 4% say 4% say they're feeling good. 4% say they are feeling. Let's take another phone call. Yo, what's going on?
What's up, bro?
What's going on, man? State your name and where you're from.
Dom from Voorhees.
What's going on, Dom?
I like what you're saying. I think they should have went out and interviewed somebody, but I would listen to 94, and seems like, I don't know. Seems like some people like the guy. I like the guy personally. I think he has a great philosophy in his pass game. I think he uses his weapons to their best abilities, and I think that the offensive pass game, which did struggle this year, should thrive under Kevin Patullo being the offensive coordinator. But then you want to go, and I don't want them to go and start passing the ball 35, 40 times a game.
Right.
You best O-line, you got Saquon.
Right. Well, that's where I am, right? Like when I think about Kevin Patullo, I don't think this is a bad hire, but I also don't think it's great. But when you say that he was the pass game coordinator, the pass game coach last year and in the past couple of years, but I really specifically look at this Eagles run where they just won a Super Bowl. The pass game was not as consistent and as positive as it should be. And then you just hire a guy, and then you hire the guy that had the inconsistent part of the offense, right? Like that's where I'm like, I don't think Jalen Hurts is a guy that is gonna that can win you. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying I don't think Jalen Hurts is a guy that can throw 35, 40 times a game. I think you can keep him at that 20 to 25 mark, but you have to have a consistent offense, a consistent passing attack.
No, I totally agree with you. I could be wrong in this, but Kellen Moore was, in his past, he was definitely more of a predominantly the air raid offense type guy. I feel like Nick had a lot to do with the run game this year, definitely in calling runs and feeding Saquon. But I think you keep Jalen to what he did in the Super Bowl. Like the 20 pass attempts. You keep him from turning the ball over because when he doesn't turn the ball over, he's at his best, no doubt.
I fully agree with that. And I really, really do. But I just think, I just think we should have went outside of the building. And whether you know that it's going to be Kevin Patullo either way or not, that's fine. But put up with the fans like me. Put up and just make it look like you're interviewing and trying to find the best possible outcome. Just do it for the league. Do it for for everybody. But I think this could work out well in Jalen Hurts' favor and the offense's favor. But we've seen how it's gone and how it was when the Eagles stayed comfortable. They stayed with what they know, and you saw how it went and how it ended with Brian Johnson. And I just don't want that again with Kevin Patullo. I really don't.
I totally agree, and I think since Brian Johnson, Nick has definitely grown, and the rest of the staff has grown. But I totally agree with what you're saying, where we should have went outside the building and tried to interview Frank Reich, interview Doug for all people care. Just give somebody something to talk about,
Right. I fully agree with that. So now let me ask you this, right? Do you think that there's going to be a difference to this pass game, right? If you were listening earlier in the show, I said what I want to see out of this new Kevin Patullo offense is keep the same attack and the scheme that Kellen Moore had. But what I think, and I truly believe, is I have to see him revamp this passing game. More under center, more play action, more bootlegs, keeping defenses on their toes. Would you agree with that, Dom?
Listen, I totally agree, but I want to make a point here. To get a good pass game going, you have to establish the run. The run is the most important part of an offense.
Absolutely.
And Kevin and Nick can definitely establish the run with this whole line and this running back. But then when you establish the run, the RPOs come into play. Play action comes into play because you're going to have those linebackers and those safeties biting hard. You can hit them over the top or you can hit them in the flat. You just got to – I think what Kevin Patullo will be good at doing is throwing defenses into the loops that Kellen Moore was able to throw defenses into with his RPO and run game, where he establishes the run earlier in the game. Saquon breaks a 10-yarder, then he goes, runs play action, hits Devontae or Dallas, or runs one of those RPOs where you see they send the Mike linebacker onto a blitz, and Jalen Hurts can read it, I'll make another point in a second, but send the Mike linebacker up for a blitz, Jalen can read it and throw the RPO in the flat or the slant to AJ across the middle. And I think that Jalen will help Kevin Patullo out a lot, because you saw this year he was checking out of plays. He was checking into the right blocking schemes. He basically took Kelsey's job from him, but when Kelsey retired. But, Jalen, I feel like he is a very intelligent quarterback under center and being able to read defenses and seeing what they're going to do.
I would tend to agree with that. I really, really would. Dom, I appreciate that phone call. Very insightful. Very. He knew what he was talking about, right? He came in, knew what he was talking about. gave me the reasons of why he liked this Kevin Patullo hire. I think that if Kevin Patullo can help out Jalen Hurts, and then if Jalen Hurts can help out Kevin Patullo, that'd be great. And just like Dom said, I mean, we agreed that this offensive passing needs to be different. We agree with that. But that begins and that starts and that goes through with the run game. It does. It really, really does. Right? So, so it does. So it goes through the run game. So Kevin Patullo, run game. It needs to be a run game. Run first offense like it was with Kellen Moore. Run first offense like it needs to be. Like you actually have the best running back in the league. You need to be able to run that ball, and you need to be able to run it down people's throats. But that that again opens it up. That opens up the pass game. But all I have said is the fact that I just want a new revamped offensive passing. I want under center. I want play action. I want bootlegs. I want defenses to be on their toes. I don't want our offense to be predictable. Our offense this year was very, very good. I'll admit that, and I'm happy to admit that. But they were also, at times, very predictable. But when you're predictable, but you also have the best offensive line in the league, the best running back in the league, a top 3 receiving core in the league, a pretty good, very good quarterback, you can be able to be predictable and keep defense on their toes, mix defenses up, get defenses guessing wrong. You're able to do that. Again, I'm not hating on this Kevin Patullo hire. I just don't know how he can be, what he can do with this scheme. I really don't. I hope that he can do something well. I hope that he can be what he's supposed to be. I really do. But that is that. So, again, I will take calls on that later into the show again, but I will be breaking in to my next topic. And that is this Philadelphia Phillies team. Right. Like who would have thought? Damn it. I got to write something down. Who would have thought? And the middle of February, I would be sitting here and talking about Philly spring training. And not in like a positively positive way, but a positive way at the same time, right? Not in a great way, but not in a bad way either, right? So, like, what I'll say here is this Phillies team is, like, we're in a time frame right now where I don't know what to watch. I don't know what to do. Like, the Eagles are done, and we were blessed to have this Eagles team and whatever play as long as they did win the Super Bowl, play through February, right? Like, we were blessed. But now I'm like, well, there's no real Sixers to watch. There's no real Flyers to watch, right? I mean, and all I want to see is the Phillies because, I mean, I'm a Phillies fan before everything like that. Like, that's really my team. You know what I mean? So when I break this Phillies team down, and we got a lot to get to when it comes to the Phillies, I have a couple different topics. And I have my Nick Castellanos, right? So there's Phillies. So the Phillies pitchers and catchers reported last Tuesday or Wednesday. The entire team followed later in the week, right? So today, I have to hear this Nick Castellanos interview, which we're going to get to, and which pissed me off. And then we also have that Kevin Long interview where he's saying that he's going to switch up the approach of the offense, which, I mean, absolutely pisses me off because how long have we been telling this guy that he needs to change the approach of the offense? But where I'm going to start is where the news because the first day, which was Wednesday, of pitchers and catchers, Dave Dombrowski and Rob Thompson had a press conference where Rob Thompson and Dave Dombrowski stated that they will most likely be testing out a new Phillies offensive lineup. They'll be testing out a new offense, a new lineup, and that starts with moving Kyle Schwarber out of the leadoff spot. And that also starts with bringing Trey Turner into that leadoff spot. And I am so ecstatic, and I am so happy that we would do that. That we finally took Rob Thompson and took this Phillies management about a year or two to figure out that Kyle Schwarber is not a leadoff hitter. Very good at what he does. He's a very good leadoff hitter. Let's not get that twisted. Let's not get that wrong. Kyle Schwarber is a very good leadoff hitter. But the way that this Phillies lineup is constructed, the way that this Phillies lineup is so top-heavy, you need somebody behind Harper, behind Castellanos, that is able to drive runners in, able to bring runners home with a homer, able to make a difference. Because Kyle Schwarber made a difference in the leadoff spot. That's fine. We could all agree with that. But let's just think about the difference and the way the RBIs he can have, the difference making home runs he can have if he's behind Harper in the lineup, behind Castellanos in the lineup, batting with a couple guys on base, right? Like that's where I really think that this will work in the Phillies' favor, because they are so damn top heavy, right? So what I will say to that is I am all in favor of Kyle Schwarber being moved out of the leadoff spot and being put about 4th or 5th in the lineup. I'm happy with that. And it took Rob Thompson about a year or so to figure out that this is what needs to be done. Obviously, Kyle Schwarber is a very good leadoff hitter, but the Phillies have never had a guy that is able to drive runners in behind Harper. So now you put Kyle Schwarber behind Harper. You put Kyle Schwarber behind Castellanos potentially, behind Bohm, all these guys that can get on base, and Kyle Schwarber can make a difference with runners on base. He can drive guys in and be a real difference maker. I think this will be a great thing for the Phillies if they're able to put Trey Turner in the leadoff spot, which we know he feels comfortable there. He's been a good leadoff hitter throughout his career. You put him there, he's able to get on base, he's able to steal. Then that puts Harper, Bohm, and Castellanos in a good position to get on base, possibly bring Turner home. And then it also brings up Kyle Schwarber. I'm just saying, I just think that this will work extremely well in the and the Phillies' favor. So again, right? Like I am look, like, because I have to restate this again. That's what it comes down to. I got to restate it again. I am all in favor of the Phillies moving Kyle Schwarber out of the leadoff spot and putting him in 4th or 5th in the lineup. I'm all in favor of them doing that. It allows guys to get on base for Kyle Schwarber to come up, runners on, and be a difference maker. Because obviously Kyle Schwarber is a very good leadoff hitter. But he made a difference with nobody on base. These solo shots, these doubles, whatever it was. But now you put him back in the lineup, back more in the lineup, and then he's able to potentially drive in more guys and be a real, true difference maker. And, throughout this entire run that the Phillies have gone on the past 3 or so years, they have never had a real power bat and a real difference-making bat behind Bryce Harper. Now you put Schwarber back there. Now it makes teams worry. It makes teams think. I think this really levels out this Phillies lineup because for the most part, they've been so damn top-heavy. Now you're able to make a difference. Now you're able to change things up. That is what it truly, truly, truly comes down to, is the fact that this is I'm just all in favor of Schwarber being moved out. It gives Trey Turner a chance to be his own difference maker, play his game, get on base, hit doubles, singles, steal. Right? Like that is what it comes down to. Let's look at now the next topic that really needs to be discussed. So today, Wednesday, NBC Sports Philadelphia posted a interview clip of Nick Castellanos being interviewed in the clubhouse, and they asked him about the team. They asked him about the approach. They asked him about what they think they're going to be able to do. And it really just pissed me off. The entire thing tweaked me out, man. It really did. And, it's just because I feel like it just feels like there's no urgency in this Phillies locker room. Feels like there's no urgency at all. Yeah, so let's take a listen to what Nick Castellanos has to say.
Confidence that this lineup can go deep into October.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna go deep in October. I don't know any of that. All I know is that we need to stay healthy and prepare in spring training and get ready for the season. That's so far down the road. But I do think that we have less pressure as a team this year. Especially with like everything the media said about us when we lost last year, and we didn't really go out and make any crazy changes. So like if we lose, you guys look smart, which is dope. Right? But then if we win, it's like a happy surprise. So like it's kind of a freeing place to play baseball. You know what I mean?
Yes.
For sure.
You said you don't know if you're going to go deep, but why do you think you're good enough to go deep? How about that? Your lineup.
We'll find out if we are or we're not.
Do you think you're good enough?
Sure.
Why?
I think we have a chance.
Is it talent? Or?
We have a good team.
I mean, I thought that he, I don't think it was that bad necessarily, but there's a couple things that really tweaked me out about this. And I'll start at the fact where he said that there's no pressure on this baseball team. Wow. I'm trying to find the words of how to respond to Nick Castellanos, who I can't hate on because I love Nick Castellanos and because he was our best hitter in the postseason. He's the only guy that actually showed up. But here's what has to be said. So Nick Castellanos says that the Phillies have no pressure this season. Well, that's funny. How can you say that there's no pressure when every year you get bounced earlier and earlier in the playoffs? You ran the same team back 3 years in a row. You lost. You got crushed in the first round of the playoffs to your division rival, the Mets. You continue to chase pitches outside the zone that aren't anywhere close. You continue to have no heart, no mentality, no drive. How can you say that there's no pressure? All you guys are doing is getting older. Your run, your time to win is continuing to run out. You are continuing to lose steam. You're continuing to fizzle out. To say that there's no pressure for your team to win is ridiculous. This is the most pressure there has been for a Phillies team. You ran the same team back for the third straight year, the same coaching staff. You brought no new guys in. And the mentality seems like it has not changed down there in Clearwater. It feels like nothing has changed down there in Clearwater. And that's what pisses me off. The fact that he sat there on an interview with NBC Sports Philadelphia and said, yeah, man, there's no pressure for us. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to make the playoffs or not. If we do, we do. If we don't, we don't. What the hell are you talking about? That doesn't even make any sense. How are you going to sit here and say, yeah, well, we may make the playoffs, we may not? Okay, I get that. I agree with that. You may not, you may. I don't know. But you can't say that on a friggin' interview where Phillies fans are listening, Phillies fans are watching, and all they've continued to be done is be heartbroken by this baseball team. That's it, man. That's it. So, I don't know. It's just I feel like the most thing that pissed me off about that entire interview was where he said there's no pressure. Like, are you stoned? Like, what's wrong with you? I love Nick Castellanos. I love what he says to the media. I love how he is, right? I love it. But to say you have no pressure, and I don't know if we're going to make the playoffs. I don't know. What are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about? No pressure. There is more pressure on this team than there has been in recent years. Give me a friggin' break. Now, there is some positives. Before I get to this last negative, right? There is some positives. Another positive, or a real positive, is Bryce Harper, one of his first at-bats spring training, hit a home run. It was crushed. He's looking very good in spring training. All the pitchers have looked very well. Luzardo's look good. Apparently, Taijuan Walker's look good. But some news on Andrew Painter is that he says that he's about 8 weeks out of where he should be because he played in that fall baseball league. So really right now that we're in February, he's really in January in his workout and off-season regimen. So he's not technically in his February. He's in a January, so he's about a month or so behind. He said he's feeling good, feeling really good, but he's about 8 weeks out of where he should be because of the injury and because of the fall league that he played in. But yeah, so that's some positives before I get into this last stupid-ass negative, and that is Kevin Long, man. That is Kevin Long. So, Kevin Long was interviewed by Matt Gelb about it from The Athletic and the Philadelphia Inquirer and all these other things. Matt Gelb is a great guy, great reporter, right? So, Matt Gelb asks him a question about the approach, about all these different things, about the new team, about the way this offense is going to be able to play, the way the offense is going to be able to work, right? Here's what he says. Kevin Long says that he's working with the Phillies right now to lower their chase rate and for them to be able to hit the ball to all sides of the field. Well, how friggin' long did it take you to figure out that one, Kevin? How long? Because the entire time you've been here, Nick Castellanos has been chasing pitches outside the zone. Same thing with Trey Turner. And all we've done is yell at you and tell you the approach of this baseball team has to be changed. So what now? What has finally made you realize that this approach, that the way that this team's hitting, the way that they're going up to the plate, like they have no care in the world, doesn't matter. What made you change? And really, Kevin, how are you going to change their approach? Because earlier in the year, you were stating the fact that, well, you know, they're so late into their career, Harper, Castellanos, it's hard to change their approach. It's hard to change the way that their mindset is up at the plate. So how now are you going to be able to change their approach and make them hit the ball all over the place? How are you going to be able to do that? And what in the hell made you realize that? What in the hell made you think all of a sudden, they need to they need to lower their chase rate. They need to start hitting the ball to all sides of the field. Well, people like me, people like Phillies fans, people like Sports Talk Radio have been talking about this for a year plus now, 2 years plus now. The reason why we can't win in the postseason is because we swing at pitches outside the box. We swing at pitches in the dirt. Nick Castellanos. That's what it comes down to. Look. Yeah, what's going on, man? State your name and where you're from. Hello? I cannot hear you, whoever this is. I cannot call back, man. I can't hear him. Yeah, but I mean, this is just, I know. So I don't want to be angry about this Phillies team. I'm not angry. I'm so happy that the Phillies are back, man. Phillies baseball, I am so happy that they're back. I've never felt better. I've never been happier when it comes to it. I'm starting to feel excited. I'm starting to feel good about this baseball team. But they really, they pissed me off. You know what I mean? It's just yeah, they just pissed you off, especially that Nick Castellanos, that there's no pressure. Kevin Long all of a sudden deciding, hey, well, we need to change the we need to change the approach at the plate. Well, no shit, Kevin. What was your first friggin' clue, Kevin? But I mean, the positive is Kyle Schwarber is potentially being moved out of the leadoff spot, which makes me very, very happy. So, if anybody here wants to call in, talk about this Phillies team, any of the subjects I just touched on, Kyle Schwarber out of the leadoff spot, Nick Castellanos saying that there is no pressure for this Phillies team, or maybe even this Kevin Long finally waking up and realizing that they need to change their offensive hitting approach. Or if you still want to discuss this Eagles' new offensive coordinator hire of Kevin Patullo, tell me why you like him, or if you don't like him. And if you agree on the fact that I'm upset that we did not interview anybody other than Kevin Patullo, we didn't interview anybody from outside the building. So if you would like to call in here, this would be a great time. 215-839-8246. That's the number to get in here. You know, it is just, so like to continue to think about this Phillies team, man. I have no problem with that. I just want them to win. I want them to do good. But Nick Castellanos coming in with that little mentality he has of, well, there's no pressure. Well, what's wrong with you? There's no pressure. What are you talking about? There's no pressure. This is the most pressure there has ever been in an Eagle or a Phillies team. So again, another thing I have here. I have my Instagram poll of the day. The question is, how do you feel about the new Eagles offensive coordinator hire? There's three options. If you would like to go and vote on my Instagram at Broad Street Sports, it's on my story. Go over there now and go vote. So there's three options. One of them being that you feel good. Another one is that you feel bad. The next one, the last one is, I'm not really sure how I feel. And as of right now, 46% say that they feel good. 4% say they feel bad. And 50% say they don't know how they feel. And again, I am in that I don't know how I feel stage right now. That's unfortunately where I am. It's not no shade at anybody, but it's just really where I am, how I feel, the whole 9 yards, if you get what I mean. Yeah, man. Well, it does not seem like we're going to get any other calls, which is all fine and dandy. It's all good. I just had to get some things off my chest when it comes to this Eagles offensive coordinator hire, and obviously when it comes to this Phillies offense and the spring training changes, the spring training, the whole 9 yards when it comes to that. But yeah, man. Thank you all for tuning in to the show. I really do love and appreciate every single one of you. I really, 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 really do. Make sure you guys please hit the like button. Just go on here, hit the like button. Please, 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 please subscribe. I really would appreciate it. Go over to Instagram and TikTok. Go do the poll and please go follow there. Please just, help me out any way you guys can. Yeah, I greatly appreciate every single one of you. Please have a good night. I'll see you all very, very soon.